Hello everyone, this is Stuff and you're listening to the Stuff HD podcast GSP edition. And yeah, I already said this is Stuff. This is Javier, aka Stuff. And with me
is Mr. GXP, the real GXP.
Mr. GSP himself at Rio GSP on Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah.
Myself, I am at Real Stuff HD on Twitter and Instagram, but this is, again, our GSP edition of the podcast where we mostly talk about video games. For now, anyway. We don't know what we're doing. It's all good. So, today we actually wanted to a lot of times we end up talking about video games, but it's really more like going down memory lane.
Mm-hmm.
So, we wanted to talk about some disappointments.
Yeah.
We're just, Christmas is almost here.
Yeah.
And we're gonna, instead of tell you about things that you should buy, because it's probably too late already to buy anything. If you haven't bought stuff already, then you get bigger issues.
That means you're broke.
Just go to just go to Best Buy. Hey, some of us wait till the very last minute. Okay,
yeah, you try to get that perfect deal.
Yeah, sometimes those are the best. I don't know, because they know that you're desperate at that point. But whatever.
That's why we don't.
I was gonna say just go to Best Buy and pick up something Nintendo Switch related, and you'll be okay.
Yeah. If we have little kids.
like Super Smash Brothers, which we played. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, pretty good.
So
that's not a disappointment.
So yeah, that is not a disappointment. So if you want something, let's do that real quick. If somebody wants something for their video game loving nephew or whatever, what do we recommend?
Smash.
So Super Smash Brothers for the Wii. Yeah. I keep saying that the Wii U. For the Nintendo Switch. Awesome game, totally recommended. I haven't played it myself. This next one, I have played Super Smash Brothers, but I was gonna say Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah,
I haven't played it myself, but I have heard really, really good stuff about it.
Yeah, it was up for a nomination for Game of the Year.
Yeah,
which God of War won, I believe.
Another great game, God of War. So if it's a little bit older. I mean, it's from this year still, but hey, if they have a PS4, then that's a great game. Red Dead Redemption is for PS4 or Xbox. I was gonna say GameBots. Spoiler alert! What?
I was gonna say it's spoiler for God of War.
God of War. Here's the God of War. What else? What else is if you have somebody from personal experience, if you have somebody that already has a Nintendo Switch and they already have Super Smash Brothers, hey, as we talked about in the previous podcast, controllers. I'm taking controllers right now, like
yeah. Okay.
The Nintendo Pro controllers, the Power 8 controllers, those are all good. So, is there another really good game that I should mention, or
a good game? I don't know, because not that would be like a good general game like Smash Brothers. Anybody can play, older, younger.
Yeah,
there's other games that are pretty good, but I wouldn't recommend them.
Like a lot of people are playing Battlefield 5. That's not my thing.
Yeah, that's not. Which people are disappointed, I guess, about that game. So maybe
they might be. That's Equis' way of telling me to get back on track. All right. We're going to start with a disappointment, but it's also kind of a surprise and also something that I just kind of want to make fun of for a little bit, and is Soulja Boy.
Yeah.
Now, I guess he's a rapper. I'm not familiar. Are you familiar with Soulja Boy?
Yeah, he I think he's like slightly younger than me. So he came out during that era where, it was like not what I was listening to, but that was more like what the younger ones were listening to.
Okay.
So I am familiar with him. Like I didn't buy his CDs or anything, but I know of Soulja Boy. So
Soulja Boy has decided to get into the video game industry business, but he's doing it pretty messed up. I think this guy is gonna get himself in trouble, and I don't know why nobody seems to be stopping him, because he started selling a console. That basically all he's doing is buying stuff from what's that, Chinese Amazon, Alibaba or something.
Yeah, something like that. AliExpress.
Yeah, AliExpress. So he's buying it from AliExpress in China and then selling them in the US, and these are just
At a huge markup.
And these are just first of all, they're old. Second of all, they're just little. They're almost like Raspberry Pis with emulators inside, and then a whole bunch of ROMs.
Yeah.
And like he's selling this console, for example. Like there's one console that he's selling for $150 that is like a smaller version of the Xbox One. That's what it looks like, but it has like 70 games, and it's all ROMs. But then you look at the ROM list, and it's so messed up because some ROMs where the game is the same name as a movie, or it's a game about a movie. Like in the list, it's supposed to show you the artwork, the art for the box, but then it just shows you the art for the DVD instead of the game. Like I know Street Fighter, I saw a video where like Street Fighter 2 had the box art for like Super Street Fighter Alpha 3 or something like that. Like it's very lots of spelling mistakes too.
Yeah.
Like this is again cheap Chinese crap that he's buying, and then he's selling it at a huge markup on his website. And again, for those of you who don't know, like the console is not illegal. The emulator running on it is not illegal. However, putting ROM, by the way, for those of you who might not be familiar, is when you take like let's say you had a Super Nintendo and then you have a cartridge. If you take and you rip the information from that cartridge and you put it into a file, so that file contains all the information that was on that cartridge, that's a ROM. So that is illegal to put on a system, because that is it's the game, basically. It is the game. So you know the rule, and I don't even know if this is a legit rule, but the rule has always been like, look, as long as you own the cartridge, then it's okay for you to have the ROM and play it. Which I'm like, all right, that makes sense because you already pay for the rights. Nowadays, I don't even know if that even matters, but I do know that it's illegal for you to be selling ROMs, because you're not Nintendo, you're not Sega, you're not Capcom, going around selling all their Street Fighter or Super Mario Brothers or whatever. So yeah, I'm like, how is he not getting in trouble selling this console that has a whole bunch of ROMs already included? And that's that console. There was another one that's a handheld. And I laugh because it's so horrible looking. Like, it looks like garbage. It looks like just this rectangular brick. And it's got video output, and it's like an RCA cable, like those old school red, white, and yellow cables. That's what it is. It's not even HDMI.
Yeah.
And that one has over 3,000 ROMs. So, and then they advertise like, oh, it can do like Nintendo Switch games. No, it can't. It definitely cannot. So again, I'm like, how? I'm just baffled by the fact that this guy is selling these things, making money off them, and it's again cheap Chinese crap, and it has all these ROMs, which again are very much illegal for him to be selling.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of when I haven't seen it lately around that much, but like back in the day, I used to see a lot of Avon, so people would just buy stuff from the company and just try to put their brand on it, and eventually, like I don't even know if Avon is still around, But like, I wonder, like, to me, like, okay, it wouldn't be illegal to sell those things, right? You're
No, it's
getting
not.
it. You're getting from.
By the way, it's called drop shipping. When you buy stuff from AliExpress and you sell it in your website or you sell it on Amazon, like it's totally legal, and a lot of people do it where they buy stuff from AliExpress, they send it to Amazon and they pay Amazon to store it, and then they can put it on the Amazon website and then sell it for a lot more, hopefully, and then make money. That's a real business and it's totally legal. The issue here is the ROMs.
Yeah, and not only that, but the fact that he's trying to put his name on it, like almost like his brand, like it almost
That's
like if he's the one that made it.
Yeah. He's like, oh, my net system.
Yeah, so he's taking like ownership of it. So even though he's not the one that put the ROMs in the system and all those things, he's branding it like if it's his company, like if it's his creation. And I'm creating a new one. That's what he says.
And again, on a lot of this drop shipping business, you can do that. Like a lot of those companies, they will. Which, by the way, whenever you're buying cheap stuff on Amazon, there's probably a very good chance that you can buy it even cheaper on AliExpress. It's just going to take you like a month to get to your home. But anyway, a lot of these companies, they offer the service of branding it with your company information. So, that would be cool, except that his doesn't even have that. Yeah. Like the actual console, it doesn't say his name anywhere, not even in the box anywhere. Not even a sticker that says their name. But whatever. Now he's offering. So now he has a new one. Within a week, he came out with like 3 different systems, I think. So now there's a new one that he's selling for $400. And I'm like, you can get an Xbox One.
The X, you can get the Xbox X.
Yeah, you can get the Xbox One X. Is it 400 or 500?
It's 400.
It's 400.
400.
Yeah. You could get an Xbox One X for $400, and he calls it the game something fused. And I looked it up, and this Fuse box, it's been around since 2016. Again, on AliExpress or Alibaba or whatever. And there are YouTube videos of people reviewing this cheap. Well, it's not even that cheap actually. Coming from China is like $300 still, which I'm not really sure why. But yeah, I'm like, why would anybody pay $400? But apparently some people are doing it, so I don't know.
Yeah, like if you're offering a product, like I don't mind the hustle. I don't mind you trying to if people are like, for example, a lot of people bash Apple because they upcharge their stuff so much, but that's them creating their product. You can kind of understand like, oh, is their product.
They can charge whatever they want.
You're not gonna you can get a cheap Apple phone from China, but it's not gonna have iOS. It's gonna have like an Android.
Yeah, it's gonna have Android looking like iOS.
So you can kind of understand them upcharging because it's their own product. But if you're upcharging a product that's not even yours, but you're trying to pass it off like it's yours, like I'm no lawyer, but like I'm like. Because Nintendo, especially Nintendo, how they defend their products, their trademarks and everything.
The console itself, absolutely legal, totally legal if he wants to call it his. If the company in China is okay with it, that's perfectly fine. But the games, like you can't be selling these games as if they were yours, and then that latest console, it even there's even a picture somewhere on his website that says, it's talking about companies that helped in the making of this, and there's like Ubisoft and a bunch of other companies, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure you never talked to Ubisoft.
Because I know, like, for example, like right now, there's like a class action lawsuit against Apple because they're like, Well, the iPhone XR is not really 6.1 inches. It's more like 6.2, like whatever.
Geez.
So they're like very like, you know, class actions lawsuits all over the place. So when you have like false especially like false advertisement, I always hear like that's a big thing. Like, oh, they're suing them because of false advertisement. False advertisement. If he's putting that in his website and he's putting Ubisoft and he's putting Activision or whatever he's putting, those companies are gonna be like, no, we're not.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
You know, you're saying that so that people can go and buy it because they're thinking that our company helped you with that, and so people are going with an expectation that's not true.
Now, he is a fairly famous rapper, so it's not completely unreasonable to think that maybe he did talk to Ubisoft, but I just highly doubt it.
No, but the fact that system has been out since 2016,
that too,
right? Like if they did talk to Activision, it wasn't him. It was a long time ago, unless they have something totally different than the ones.
Maybe the original Chinese people that made it, actually. I don't know. But still.
Maybe they were ex Ubisoft employees.
But anyway, that's a disappointment. Honestly, right now, I'm just waiting to see what happens. Now, I'm thinking at the same time, like, could this just be like him trying to get more attention, because I had never heard of him since this, and now I keep seeing videos pop up about it,
and I think he's really trying. Like, he is a big gamer. Like I know for a fact that he's like always into, like, he plays online with his fans. And
do you think that he's famous enough that he doesn't need this to get more people to know about him?
Like from like the latest I've heard, like he really wants to get into the esports, so he's trying to create a team. But like, to me, I'm like, well, this is kind of gonna hurt your reputation.
Yeah, because you're like, honestly, right now, people like you would be like the laughing stock of the gaming community.
So like this is not gonna help. I don't know if he's trying to use this to kind of get more into the video game world of side of things, but this is not the right way. Like, I don't like. It's not gonna help him. It's not gonna gain him any good looks. Like, Soulja Boy, you want to get into gaming, but like you're selling all these cheap Chinese systems to your dumb fans who are gonna pay extra. Something that they shouldn't even have to pay that much. Like, you're was that word a charlatan or like
charlatan.
It's like something like that. I don't know if that's the right word, but it's like you're like a scammer. There we go.
Yeah.
Scammer. Yeah. You're being a scammer.
So yeah. To be fair, he's not only selling video game systems. He's also selling other stuff on his website, like headphones, like extremely cheap headphones that will probably break after a day. But yeah, the whole video game thing is the thing that I find very interesting, because again, that's illegal. But anyway, moving on to other things that are disappointments. We were gonna try and do systems and games, but then we decided we're only gonna do systems that might have been disappointing.
Yeah.
And the first one on the list, technically, is a system, right? The PlayStation Classic.
Yeah, that's a system. It's a plug-and-play system that was such a disappointment. It's on sale already. You can get deals on them.
I haven't returned mine. I really should get to it fast.
Yes, return it, and then once it goes even more in price, then you can get, like, if it gets down to $50, I'll buy it.
Yeah. I think for $50, I would almost be okay with it. Yeah, overall, it's disappointing. The emulator is not that great. They put a whole bunch of NTSA or NTCS games, but then also a bunch of PAL games, and then the PAL games run on a different frequency than NTCS here in the US, so they actually end up running slower. They put a whole bunch of games that were like they missed a lot of good games.
Yeah,
now
they didn't put their best. Like,
yeah, they didn't put their best, and they were like, licensing issues, but I'm like, Yeah, I get that. I can understand that, but it's almost like you didn't even try to get the licenses.
Yeah.
So personally,
Like I doubt they couldn't get the license to Tomb Raider.
Tomb Raider, Crash Bandicoot,
I mean,
like
they have the new Tomb Raider.
Crash Bandicoot was basically their mascot back in the day. Like you couldn't get the license to that.
Yeah, you would always see him head to head with like Mario and Sonic.
Exactly. Like
at least one of the Crash Bandicoot. Like I've never played a Crash Bandicoot game. If that game would have came out, I'm like,
it would have been your chance.
Yeah, that's something I would be interested in playing. Like
I think that the most Crash Bandicoot I've ever played was in the Uncharted game. In Uncharted, there's a little sequence where you play Crash Bandicoot at the beginning. You're hanging out with your girl, and then you're playing video games, and then it's actually Crash Bandicoot. So I'm like, okay, so you had the license to put it there, but you couldn't put it on your PlayStation Classic.
Like, who owns Crash Bandicoot?
I don't know, man. It's so. Moving on, I decided to just throw the Sega Genesis Classic on there. Now, technically, the Sega Genesis Classic, I don't even know if that's the official name. It is not made by Sega, but I still think that Sega had them make it.
Yeah, probably like it was like an official license by...
It was at Arcade or something like that? Or
at Games.
At something. Personally, I haven't played with it. It looks kind of cool, but I've heard a lot of bad stories about how the emulator sucks also. And
is that the one where you can actually put a cartridge in it also?
I don't know.
Because I think I remember seeing one. Maybe there's like so many of those. I remember there being a Sega.
I really think with the Genesis, they have tried a few times.
Yeah.
Same with the Atari 2600.
Like every time I see one and it's on sale, I almost feel like buying it, but I never have that courage to.
I saw a video of Floss doing an Atari 2600 one.
Yeah.
Looked kind of cool, but it looks very big. Like it doesn't look nice and cute and small. Like
I think they try to make it realistic.
Yeah,
like the real one.
I don't have room for a whole.
Yeah, you gotta make it look
big one. And then they went with wireless controllers, which kind of weird. Yeah,
I don't mind it. Like, are they like RF?
No, I don't think so. Now you decided to put on the list the Game Gear.
The Game Gear, yeah.
Why the Game Gear?
Like, I never had the Game Gear, but like my friend, he had it, and he would bring it to school, and he would put like 6 batteries on there or whatever.
Then that's what I was thinking about, batteries.
And then it will only last you like 1 or 2 hours, and then you're all out. You're like, oh, this kind of this. And
the Game Gear is in one of those systems where as a Nintendo fan, I was like, damn you, Sega.
Yeah, colors.
Yeah, it had colors. It looked pretty cool, you know. But then
the practical part of it, like the actual
it was always interesting how in handheld gaming, Nintendo to this day, I would say, has never been beaten. Like so many other companies had tried. Back in the day, Sega tried with the Game Gear. Sega tried with the game. What was it called? The other one that was also a Sega Genesis. You know which one I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh.
Anyway, Sega tried with a few systems. Sony tried with a few systems, and Nintendo, even though they were always much simpler.
Yeah.
They always had all the sales.
But just like Nintendo's motto was always like stay behind a little bit in the technology.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they stay with the monochrome just for battery consumption.
Yeah.
Then once they figured out the battery deal, they're like, okay, we can do colors now.
Yeah. Which again, Sega, they were like, oh yeah, people want colors. Yeah, people want colors, but people want colors for more than 1 hour.
Yeah.
And I did. Eventually, when I became more of a collector, I did eventually have a Game Gear, and yeah, it was kind of a cool system. But indeed, like you had to, they eventually had this battery thing that you put in it, battery backup, like a big thing. It made it bigger, but
like what you have for your Switch.
Yeah, exactly. But you were able to play longer.
Yeah.
But even with that, it didn't last.
I wonder how much that. I wonder how much that.
I don't know how much it was back in the day. I'm sure it was pretty expensive. But yeah, that I guess it kind of counts as a disappointment just because of how bad it did.
Because it just didn't come out with that many games. I think it was only like 16 games or something, if I recall. I might be wrong.
Now I decided to put Virtual Boy into the list because let's face it, that was a disappointment.
Yeah. You had it, and I remember playing. It was like fun for like the first 5 minutes, but then
but
like,
even I remember
only had one good game.
This is one where I was really looking forward to it because Nintendo had the Super NES for a while, and we already had the PlayStation 1 in the 32-bit era, and I was like, come on, Nintendo, like you gotta come out with something 32-bit. Then they started talking about coming out with a 32-bit system, and it was the Virtual Boy, and I was like, hell yeah, Nintendo, you got this. And then it ended up being the Virtual Boy, and it was only red, and it was kind of weird, and I was like, okay, this is disappointing. And then I ended up getting one for like $30 after they quit selling them. Because Blockbuster, I think they were, was selling their rental ones because they didn't need them anymore. So that was cool that I was able to get one for very cheap, but they were pretty expensive too when they were new. Yeah. I don't remember the price, but
I think they were like $150, like if I remember it correctly, or
I don't know. But I did get a good deal.
I'm pretty sure like the price went down pretty quick.
Oh yeah, real quick. But yeah, that was definitely
just as quick
flop.
as the PS Classic.
So next on my list, I have the Sega 32S. Now I also put that one in there myself. Now I never had the Sega 32S growing up because again I was a Nintendo guy. But I always heard about how great the Sega 32S. I would always look at the commercials. I was always like, man, freaking Sega. Like, I was jelly. I was jelly inside. So later as a collector, I eventually got a Sega 32S. And I was like, hell yeah, I'm going to try this. Finally. I'm finally going to try the 32S. Or
32-bit power.
Yeah, like, again, this was like 2-3 years ago. Like, it wasn't that long ago. So I plug it in, and right away I was disappointed with the simple fact that it was yet another power brick.
Yeah.
But then I played some of the games and I was like, yeah, like it's not that different. Like I don't know what I was expecting exactly, but it wasn't all that great.
So is that with the viewpoint of whenever that time was, or if you took it back to 1990?
See, that's the thing. Maybe if I took it back to those days, but honestly, what I saw it didn't look that much better.
Yeah, probably.
So I don't think
just 16 bits more.
I don't think that would have made a huge difference. So going back to the handhelds. One more that I decided to throw in there was the PlayStation Vita.
Because that just had so much potential.
Exactly. I absolutely loved the PlayStation Vita. I think it is a freaking awesome system.
I like how it feels and everything.
It feels great. It feels like high quality. Good, if I remember correctly, decent battery life.
Yeah.
Nice operating system. It's a good system. And to be fair, I think it has a niche following, like a cult following with I think RPGs or something like that. Japanese RPGs.
How did it do in Japan? Did it do good in Japan?
I honestly couldn't tell you. I can tell you that over here, personally, I would never see games coming out for it.
Yeah.
And it had a lot of power too for being a little handheld. It had a decent amount of power. So so yeah, the fact that I would never see, like when I first got my PlayStation Vita, I was like, okay, Nintendo, you're screwed now. Like finally somebody's going to dethrone you in the handheld market. But no, like again, the Nintendo 3DS, Nintendo kept bringing out games to the 3DS, and then whenever I would go to conventions, that's all I would see, people pulling out of their pockets 3DSs. And I'm like, okay, what the hell happened to the Vita? Like the Vita is so cool. Like what the
graphically
hell?
And everything.
Graphically, yeah, very good graphics.
And
like then I also
to like PS3 graphics or PS2 graphics.
I would say it's comparable to PS3, like a little bit less powerful than PS3. So I'm like, what the hell? Like, and then, you know, when Nintendo Switch came out, I was like, this is what the Vita should have been. Yeah. Like
really.
I for example, I have a little dock for my Vita where I can hook up a speaker. And I think a USB device. I'm not totally sure. I will have to look at it. But I'm like, if they had just put an HDMI port on it so that you could have the video go to the TV and then make it so that you could like connect a PS controller to the Vita. I'm like, this should have been the original Nintendo Switch idea. Like,
just imagine, like if they would have established that, then they could have say they were there first.
Yeah,
and then they could have made like a PS4 that you could dock. Imagine playing a PS4
and the
games on it.
And the thing is that they knew that people wanted to play some of these games on the TV, and that's why they came out with the Vita TV. Which was a different little console that you could hook up to your TV where you could play your PlayStation Vita games. And I'm like, why? Why can't you just have HDMI or, you know, whatever type of video signal come out of the Vita and go straight into the TV? And why can't you hook up a Bluetooth controller to the Vita? I'm like, it makes no sense. So
I want to see what happened to that guy who suggested that in the boardroom. Like, excuse me, sir, but what if we just connect it to the TV?
No, this is a handheld system.
Yes, we cannot mix those two concepts together. You're fired, Billy.
So yeah, for me, the Vita is kind of a disappointment, even though it's not. It's a disappointment simply because...
Where's it at now?
I feel it's in my closet. I feel that it could have done so much better. Honestly, I do feel that it could have done so much better.
And they did that, and that one's the one they had like you can put like AT&T wireless connection. So they can play like watch.
Yeah, they even had that. Like, and you know, Sony would have had. You know, it worked on the Sony network. So I never played online, but I'm sure you would have been able to do very good games online. And the original system, it had an OLED screen. It was a beautiful screen. It was just like great.
I remember when I was playing, I'm like, man, that's the only reason I had to like get rid of it is because like there was really nothing, no games, no.
The one thing that a lot of people still use it for, like I know Guillermo, he uses it for because you can play PS4 games in it. Because if you have a PS4, then you can remote play.
Remote play, yeah.
I cannot do that because to me, the screen is too small for those games. But it's kind of cool, you know. He's like, again, my friend Guillermo does it, and he says for games where you're farming or whatever, then while he's watching TV, he'll go ahead and hook it up on the Vita and actually do that. So that works out for him
while he's farming.
Yeah. Well, while he's watching TV, he'll be farming on the game.
And like in my head, I was like, he was out in doing farm work. So he's playing with his Vita.
So yeah, that. But again, that's another great thing that you're able to do. So So not even could it have been the Nintendo Switch. It could have also been the Wii U because it has that ability to talk to the PS4. So you could have easily made games where you're controlling them with the PS Vita.
Yeah.
And then you have certain commands on the screen on the PS Vita, which was a touch screen, a better touch screen, by the way, than the Wii U. And then that would have worked.
Yeah.
And speaking of the Wii U,
the whole Wii family.
The whole Wii family. Okay, let's start with the Wii. Let's start with the original Wii, and we don't have much time at all, but the original Wii. Okay, we cannot say that it was a disappointment as far as sales because
it wasn't a flop.
It wasn't a flop. It was definitely not a flop. But personally, for me, it was a disappointment because, again, big Nintendo fan. I had a GameCube, waiting for that next Nintendo system that's gonna fight
that
with
PS.
PS killer. What was it at this point? PS3 killer.
Yeah. Nintendo's gonna match them now.
Yeah, and they come out with the Wii, which is just a GameCube in a different body.
Yeah, version 1.5
and weird controls. Yeah. So as
instead
far as
of
that
a cube,
goes,
it was a rectangle.
Yeah, instead of a cube, it was a rectangle. The exact same power. Like even today, if the emulators that emulate GameCube, they also emulate Wii because they're basically the same system.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, what the hell, Nintendo? We just went through so many years of the GameCube. You're supposed to give us something better, and you're giving us freaking Wii Tennis, like Wii Sports, actually. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, because I remember like the what's it called, Zelda game that came out. Which one was it?
Twilight Princess.
Twilight Princess. It was for both the Wii.
Yeah, and they ran the same on both.
Same graphics, same everything. I had both versions. I bought,
except that on the damn Wii, I had to shake the damn controller to do things. I should have gotten the GameCube one.
The GameCube version. Yeah, I have it. You want? No. And it's funny because I bought that one like at Kmart. It was like I found it like in a little crack where the video game. I'm like, what game is this? And I reached down and it was the GameCube version of Twilight Princess. I'm like, oh, I gotta get this for the collection.
And worst part, the Wii didn't have a little handle.
I know, right? It wasn't easy to carry around your house, or like if somebody made you mad, you could just grab it by the handle and smack them with it.
You probably could kill someone with a GameCube,
but yeah, like so you had the Wii that it was just new controllers and just kind of like when we talked in that episode, just a bunch of accessories, just trying to cash grab, like squeeze every little penny. And then what did they do after the Wii?
The Wii U. Which
a lot of people
confuse everybody.
Yeah, because the people were like, "Is it just a screen?"
Yeah, or they're like, "Oh, I don't need a screen for my Wii."
Yeah, like
it's not just a screen for your Wii. Now I'm putting the Wii U as a disappointment, almost in the same way as the Vita. I personally loved the Wii U, but it was hard being a Wii U fan.
Yeah,
like people hated the Wii U.
Yeah. And I hated the fact that they forced having to use that screen on every single game.
They forced you.
It was no option. Like, nah.
I am glad that they almost eventually gave up on the whole motion control things. Like eventually they didn't.
They toned it down.
Yeah, they toned it down, exactly. But then a game like Star Fox came out.
That was so disappointing,
Star Fox
man.
Zero.
I love Star Fox. Like, I wanted...
This was the Star Fox game that I wanted.
Yes.
And then they messed it up. I couldn't play with that thing. It was weird. And a lot of people were like, oh, okay. For those who might not know, on Star Fox Zero, you had to use the screen and the Wii U gamepad and move it around and stuff to play, but then you also had to be paying attention to the gamepad and the TV at the same time. It was weird. I couldn't get used to it. Now, some people were like, "Oh, if you play like 5 hours, you get used to it." I don't want to have to play like 5 hours to get used to the controls.
And like even so, like man, like you just want to sit back and you just want to shoot stuff. Like you just want to blast, like have fun. Just blast as many enemies as you can. Like,
it's simple, Nintendo. I just want a Nintendo, like a Star Fox 64 remake.
Yeah,
with different things. Like it's not that complicated.
The thing is that Star Fox Zero, the graphics are so nice.
They are so nice, and it would have been perfect. And I'm still hoping. I am really, really hoping that there's gonna be a Star Fox Zero remake on the Switch. Now I haven't heard of anything, but if they can make it and make it where it's just exactly that, the spaceship and me shooting, I'll play it.
And it's like I remember there's some levels that play like the N64 where you really don't need to be paying attention because it's just a straightforward, like shooting, and you're having so much fun. You're like, yeah. You're into it, and then all of a sudden this boss fight comes out of nowhere, and then it does the whole thing where you have to use the screen, and you're like, oh man, like I quit.
Yeah. So, but then, so yeah, in a way, the Wii U is a disappointment, even though it was more powerful than the Wii. So at least we did get a specs upgrade,
but not as powerful as the PS3.
Oh no, it not as powerful as the PS4. It was more powerful than the PS3, but it still failed. Now. It's kind of funny because now this is almost Nintendo's thing, because then the Nintendo Switch came out, and that's definitely not a disappointment. Well, in a way, it has been for me game-wise, even though right now I'm happy with Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
But I personally feel that the type of games that I like have been lacking, but whatever. But then the Switch is almost as powerful. It's more powerful than the GameCube, but I mean than the Wii U, but not by a whole lot. But it feels like the Nintendo Switch is what the Wii U was trying to be.
Yeah. So like the Wii U is kind of like the prototype, and they just needed that little extra time to make the final product. But they're like, let's just do the Wii U right now.
Yeah.
Let's do it as is. And then we're Nintendo. People will still buy our stuff.
And I did. So there's that.
So that's why I'm refusing to buy a Switch.
You'll get one soon.
Yeah, eventually. Once there's like 10 games that I like.
It's funny because every time I look at the back of a Nintendo Switch game where it tells you how you can play it, one of the things is they show the whole Switch, but the little logo that they show, it looks just like a Wii U gamepad. Anyway, those are some of the systems that we find in some way or another that were disappointments. As you can see, they're not all actual disappointments. Again, the Wii U, I liked. I absolutely love the Wii U, but I prefer the Switch.
Yeah, it's a way better, more complete system.
It is indeed what it should have been from the beginning. The fact that, and again, the Wii U, I originally thought that you were going to be able to take the gamepad and play anywhere. So definitely the Switch, much better version.
Would you say it's a disappointment? Because is the Switch still 32 gigabytes storage?
That part is kind of a disappointment. I mean, you can put a SD card,
and you can put but like
so you could put different games on different SD cards if you want. So like,
is there a limit? Can you put like a 256?
You can probably put a 1 terabyte on there and still be okay. So I mean, it would cost you.
Yeah. I mean, they could. There's like phones, like not even Apple gives you 32 gigabytes anymore.
It took them a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, since I don't like that's not a big thing for me because I don't like to download games. I like to buy the physical copy, so I'm okay with that. But I can definitely see how for somebody who likes to just download, it's gotta be annoying. Because if I was, one of the things that is interesting or fun is to be able to switch quickly between games. So even if I had different SD cards, then I will have to be looking for the right SD card for the right game, and that could be very annoying. So I can totally understand how for some people that has to be a pain in the butt if they are into downloading the games. So yeah. Anyway, we are out of time on this episode. Please let us know if there's anything that you feel was a big disappointment. I'm sure there's so many things that were a disappointment to so many people, like the Philips CDI. That was probably a disappointment to somebody.
Yeah.
The Atari Jaguar, was that a disappointment? I don't know.
You tell us if you were.
Was it really 64 bits? It really was just two 32-bit CPUs. So I wonder, does that count as a dual core? I don't know.
These are questions that will be answered in the next episode. Exciting episode of GXP.
All right, guys. We're going to get out of here. Please remember to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at RealStuffHD.
And follow us at RealGXP. I don't know why I say us. Me.
Yeah, well,
my man, me and my Vic there.
And yeah.
The GXP family.
It's the GXP crew.
La Familia. Sounds like a gang.
Then remember to go to Stuff HD for more information on Stuff HD. There's a new website design. Everything's brand new. You can leave comments. You can do whatever. And you can also email me at stuff@stuffhd.com. All right, we're out of here. Till next week. See y'all. Next week is Christmas. Are we doing a Christmas episode?
Maybe we could do a Friends Mess one.
Yeah.
A post-Friends Mess.
Post-Friends Mess episode or something. Yeah. All right. Y'all take care. Bye.